There is any difference between, there is a sentence in the Bhagavad Gita about you have the right to perform your duties. I don't know if I'm saying
yes,
it
yes,
right.
That's right.
How should a person know his real duty in this life?
Right.
If I'm not just talking about being a devotee.
Right.
I'm talking also about how should a person know if to raise a family is right for him, or to be a sannyas.
Right, right. In the context of the Gita, Krishna is first of all speaking about your career. So it's really, in the 18th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says many times that your duty in that sense comes from your nature. And he's actually talking about the Varna system, like to be a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, like a teacher or a priest, or to be a governor, a ruler, a warrior, or to be a business or farming, or to be a worker or a craftsman. So really, in the first case, he's talking about your career. So in terms of how do you choose your career, then you have to just figure it out. And the more you understand yourself, and the more you can separate, let's say, just things that you like or things you find interesting, separate that from your real nature. Like I was really sort of born to do this kind of work, as opposed to I like this or I like that. And the way I put it sometimes in terms of finding your career, it's like, what is it that you cannot not do? Because there are so many things we're interested in, but if we don't do them, our life won't end. But other things, we really have to do it, because that's just our natural activity. And then as far as ashram, which would be like sannyas, or like married or not married, or sannyas and all that, for most people, having children is natural. And then there are a few unnatural people. Yes, we would formally call it the unnatural society. And then some people just want to focus all their energy on the service. But again, I think it's important not to think that one is better than the other, and not to choose one because you think that's more sincere. But the real point is just to get the right one. Because to give yourself to Krishna, that's the idea, to give yourself to God, you have to know yourself. Because, for example, if let's say I have an intellectual nature, but at a certain point in my life I don't know that, or I think I'm not supposed to have an intellectual nature or something, then I'm not really giving it to Krishna, because I'm not really accepting myself, and therefore I can't really give myself to Krishna. So it's sort of the act of giving yourself to God implies or entails that first you have to know who you are, so you can be conscious of yourself and then give yourself to God. And everyone is different. So Oscar Wilde once said, just be yourself, everyone else is already taken. So, and then even in terms of knowing ourselves, because obviously right now we are hybrids. We are eternal souls, but we definitely have material bodies. And so to understand, how should I put it? Like the difference between a desire and a need. So that we have to act according to our nature, but there are different extremes. One extreme would be to just deny yourself, not to really accept who you are, even on a human level. You have to accept who you really are on a human level, and then work with that and spiritualize it. So one extreme would be not really accepting who you are. But the other extreme would be any whim, any desire I have suddenly becomes a need. That's my nature. And so therefore, misinterpreting Krishna's statement to mean that I should engage in just sort of shameless self-indulgence. Because some of our desires are inappropriate, and some of our desires are appropriate. I mean, everyone, I think, should be grateful that their mind is not an open book. And so when I have a particular desire, in one sense, a desire can become so strong that you could classify it as a need. And you could say, well, if I don't somehow or other deal with that or somehow engage that desire, I'm just going to become a little crazy, or my life's going to become unnatural and dangerous, actually, because if someone acts too much against their nature, they become psychologically unstable. And yet, so you have to be natural, and you have to accept yourself, like, this is who I really am at this point in my development. But on the other hand, you don't want to go the other extreme. And, I just felt a little desire for something. Well, I guess I better run out and do it, because... No, nature means, like, it's more fundamental than that. And so to be a devotee, to be a good devotee, it requires really some intelligence and self-understanding. You have to be honest with yourself, and it requires discrimination. What is just a passing desire? What is a real need? So really, to be successful in spiritual life, in a sense, it's not just following rules. You have to be introspective. You have to have certain self-knowledge. Be honest with yourself. It's really a great challenge. And it's not just, here's a bunch of rules, follow them. Actually, Prabhupada once wrote me a letter, 1972, when I first took sannyas at the mature, highly experienced age of 23. Prabhupada wrote me a letter, because 1972 I took sannyas, and I wrote Prabhupada saying I was going to go give lectures in colleges and universities. And Prabhupada wrote to me and said, please do not present Krishna consciousness as just a bunch of rules. He said, it's not about rules, it's the highest philosophy. He said, the most sublime philosophy. So everything I'm doing in my life, every rule I follow, I know why I'm doing it. I don't blindly do things, really. It's not my nature. So every rule I follow, every practice I have, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what positive effect it has in my life. And if I don't see that, then I probably don't do it. So I know what I'm doing. To me, it's not rituals, it's a process.